Hello, and welcome back to another breaking news update. My name is Jimmy Boyd, and you are watching Boyd News. I want to thank you all for tuning in today. If you don't mind, please smash the like button on this video. It takes 2 seconds, and it really helps out with the YouTube algorithm, so that way more people can see this video just like you have today. And also, if you enjoy this content, please consider subscribing to the channel. We do put out daily news updates here, and if you subscribe and hit the notification bell, it will notify you on YouTube as soon as the video goes live. So, guys, I have some major breaking news coming out of Russia. It appears that the deputy head of Security Council, Dmitry Medvedev, has warned of a nuclear response if Ukraine hits missile launch sites in Russia. So, I believe this is in response to what's going on in like Belgorod. Belgorod has been getting hammered by the Ukrainians lately. And now, right now, we have Zelensky. He's been traveling in the Baltics. He was just in Lithuania, I believe, yesterday. And he's going to be visiting other Baltic states to drum up support for his war. He's in desperate need of air defense systems right now. And I'm sure he's looking for, offensive weapons as well to go after Russia. So this year is going to be very interesting because Zelensky and Putin both are up for re-election, and then we also have the United States elections this year in November as well. And there's a big possibility that if Donald Trump gets back into the White House, it's going to completely change foreign policy. And we already know that Trump is has stated many times that he will put an end to the war in Ukraine very quickly within a few days after getting back in the Oval Office. So this story is very worrisome to me because again, we have Russia. They've done this so many times. Putin said it, and many of his officers within the military have used the nuclear word. And for the longest time, especially through the Trump administration, you would never really hear of these countries like Russia using that word. And it's such a powerful word to be used. The destruction power of a nuclear bomb nowadays is way stronger than it ever was back in World War II when it was first created. So it's crazy to me that these countries like Russia and North Korea, and they just openly speak about just nuking somebody like it's just dropping a regular bomb. Like a nuclear bomb is just going to kill so many people at one time, and way more people than we ever saw in the bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki in Japan. This is way more destructive. Okay. So this is very big news. It's very worrisome, and we need to pay attention to this and be aware of this. So I've got an article here that I want to go over with you guys real quick. And if you stick around with me towards the end, I've got also a video that I want to show you guys of Trump being interviewed by Tucker Carlson. Many of you may have seen it, but if you haven't, I want to share it here today. He's interviewed by Tucker Carlson and talking about how dangerous it is that these countries are just openly speaking about nuclear options. Okay, so I'm going to show that to you guys in just a minute, but let's get into the story here. So Russia's Medvedev warns of nuclear response if Ukraine hits missile launch sites. Okay, a senior ally of President Vladimir Putin warned on Thursday that any Ukrainian attacks on missile launch sites inside Russia with arms supplied by the United States and its allies would risk a nuclear response from Moscow. Now, they don't say exactly who they would attack with these nuclear missiles, okay? That's what's scary to me here is they literally say here with arms supplied by the United States. So they're openly blaming the United States and saying, "Hey, you guys are complicit in attacking our country and attacking our missile launch sites." So we would then issue a nuclear strike potentially anywhere. It could be in Ukraine, or maybe it's not in Ukraine. Vladimir Putin did also warn Finland as well. He warned them when they joined NATO before they were with NATO, they were a neutral country. Okay, so whenever they join NATO, now they're a threat to Moscow. Okay, so maybe it might be Finland they might attack. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm sure it would probably be a NATO country, or it could even be the United States. And obviously, a nuclear response is not going to be a good thing. It's going to be really bad because if they launch nukes, then most likely we would launch nukes. Okay, and then we'd be in full blown World War III, which is what most people would believe World War III would be about. Would just literally be a nuclear exchange. Okay, so this is very very dangerous what's going on here. Let's continue with this story. Former Russian President Dmitry Medvedev, now deputy chairman of Russia's Security Council, said that some Ukrainian military commanders were considering hitting missile launch sites in Russia with Western supplied long range missiles. That's why they're warning about this. He did not name the commanders or disclose more details of the alleged plan, and there was no immediate reaction from Ukraine to his threat. What does this mean? It only means one thing. They risk running into the action of paragraph 19 of the fundamentals of Russia's state policy in the field of nuclear deterrence, Medvedev wrote on Telegram. This should be remembered, he said. Paragraph 19 of Russia's 2020 nuclear doctrine sets out the conditions under which a Russian president would consider using a nuclear weapon, broadly as a response to an attack using nuclear or other weapons of mass destruction, or to the use of conventional weapons against Russia when the very existence of the state is put under threat. Medvedev made specific mention of point G of paragraph 19, which deals with nuclear response to a conventional weapons attack. So they're literally saying if you attack us with conventional weapons, it doesn't even have to be a nuclear attack. We will respond with a nuclear attack against either the United States or Ukraine or whatever it might be. More than likely, this nuclear bomb would be detonated in Ukraine, and I think many have been speculating that this would happen eventually, that there would eventually be a nuclear response in Ukraine. But this year, in my opinion, is very likely that we could see a nuclear detonation in Ukraine. And the reason being is there's just so much at stake this year. Okay, there's elections that are being held on both countries with Ukraine and Russia. We've got U.S. elections this year as well in November, and a potential of a complete swap of administration and foreign policy and the way they handle things. If Trump gets back in, it's going to be completely different than what Biden is doing right now. Okay, so there's so many dynamics at play here, and so many things can change this year, and it's almost like there's a time crunch in a way, and that Ukraine and Russia need to hurry up and get this thing done. Okay, we're at the ninth inning here, basically, guys, and there needs to be a decisive winner, is kind of how it seems by the end of the year. And if we don't have a decisive winner, there's going to be administration changes throughout all these different countries that are involved. That's going to change the game regardless. Okay, so there's going to be some major stuff happening this year. I know I haven't been reporting much on Ukraine, and it has been relatively quiet in terms of news updates for Ukraine. Every time I check into this and I see what's going on, there's really not a whole lot going on other than Ukraine and Russia kind of battling it out and lobbing missiles at each other right now. That's really all they're doing. But clearly there's a buildup to something big. I think there's going to be a massive attack by Russia. And I think Ukraine is preparing for that. And I think Russia is prepared to just finally finish off Ukraine. I think they want the whole country. I don't think they just want the Donbass and stuff like that. I think they want the entire country. And I've mentioned this before, that Putin wants that buffer zone. If he gets Ukraine and he also is allies with Belarus, he's got a good buffer zone to keep NATO back. Okay. And this is World War III right here. And it is being fought as a proxy through Ukraine. So this is the West versus Russia. Okay. And then obviously China and North Korea and all that too. But Russia's doing the bulk of the fighting right now, obviously. And this will continue to worsen throughout the year, I believe. We will see things ratchet up more and more and more as time goes on, because as we get closer to elections and stuff like that, it's going to only increase the attacks and desperation between both leaders of Zelensky and Vladimir Putin. So expect things to get worse over there, guys. And the use of nuclear detonation is going to be even more broadly used as time goes on. Okay, so get used to it now. That this is just it's a different world we live in, and it's very dangerous and it's scary. So I want to show you guys this quick video here of Trump. He's being interviewed again by Tucker Carlson on Fox News. This is an old video. Some of you may have seen it, but I want to show you guys, how he feels about nuclear war and just how things were under his administration. He wouldn't allow anybody to talk like that, and nor would anybody else speak this way. No one would be using what he calls the N word, the nuclear word. Okay, and now it's just being openly thrown around like it means nothing. Okay, the devastation of a nuclear bomb is way stronger now than it ever has been before. So we would literally have obliteration, which is his term that he's used before in one of his speeches. So let me show this to you guys real quick. Check this out. It's just like a 30-second clip, and I want you guys to see what he has to say, okay?
You have two N words. You don't mention either one of them. The nuclear word you don't mention because the power is so destructive. Nobody talks about nuclear. The problem we have, the biggest problem we have in the whole world, it's not global warming, it's nuclear warming. And all it takes is one madman, and you're going to have a problem the likes of which the world has never seen. And it's only a matter of seconds. You don't have to wait 200 to 300 years for it to happen.
All right, guys, so you hear that? Hear what he had to say there? So, yeah, it's scary, guys. The possibility of nuclear war is much greater than humanity of climate change, right? So these bombs are 500 times apparently more powerful than the bombs dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki during World War II. Okay, so this is not a joke, and they really shouldn't be talking about this like that, but they are. And that's where we need to understand, like, that's how bad things really are now. Like, it's that dangerous now that a country literally feels so threatened to use a nuclear bomb. Okay? Like, why should we ever feel that threatened? But clearly there's something at stake here. Clearly there may be even stuff behind the scenes that we're not even aware of, that the media is not reporting and all that stuff. Clearly there's a much bigger war being held here than what's being told. Okay? There's a lot going on behind the scenes that we are not being told. And clearly if they're so willing to use a nuclear bomb, they're willing to save face with something. Okay? They're protecting something so much bigger than what we're being told. Is at least what I think. Okay? So let me know what you guys think about this. How do you feel about this nuclear situation? Like, should these countries be using this term like this so loosely? Should they be doing that? Should they not be doing that? Comment down below and let me know what you think. Are you concerned of nuclear war? Are you prepared for nuclear war? Do you think it's possible that we could see that in our lifetime? Let's say in the next 5 years or 10 years. Is that possible? I think it could be. Okay, so prepare yourselves, be aware of this stuff, keep your head on a swivel. I'm happy to be sharing this information with you guys. That way you guys are aware of what is going on around the world. So I'll keep an eye on this some more for you. If anything else comes out from Russia and Ukraine, I will definitely update you guys on what's going on over there. And I'll see you guys all in the next one. Take care and God bless. Thank you.